He was brilliant, outspoken, fearless. Marc Angelucci, a California attorney, and one of the nation's most vocal men's rights activists. To his supporters, he was a hero. To his critics, he was controversial. But one thing was certain. Marc never shied away from a fight. And then, on a warm July afternoon in 2020, someone came to his mountain home, dressed as a deliveryman. Moments later, shots rang out, and Marc Angelucci was gone. Who killed him? Why? And why, 5 years later, has no one ever been convicted? This is the story of a lawyer's murder and a case without closure. Welcome to USA Unsolved Crime Files. Marc Angelucci wasn't just another lawyer. Born in 1968, he grew up in California, driven, ambitious, passionate about justice. He studied law at UCLA and quickly made his name as an advocate, not for the causes everyone expected, but for something different: men's rights. Marc believed society had blind spots, that laws unfairly targeted men, especially in areas like domestic violence resources, false accusations, and selective service, the military draft. In 2001, he joined the National Coalition for Men. By 2003, he founded the group's Los Angeles chapter. He took on bold cases. He challenged the male-only draft. He fought for fairness in domestic violence shelters. Marc didn't care if his positions were unpopular. To him, justice meant balance, even if it made enemies. But his work, his firebrand style, and his growing influence may have painted a target on his back. Because by 2020, Marc Angelucci wasn't just practicing law, he was shaping it. And in July of that year, someone decided his time was up. Saturday, July 11th, 2020, Cedarpines Park, a quiet mountain community in San Bernardino County. Marc lived there, in a rustic home, tucked away among the trees. That afternoon, around 4 p.m., a man arrived. Neighbors would later say he looked like a delivery driver, carrying a package. Nothing unusual. Marc opened the door. There was no struggle, no warning. Then, gunfire. Marc collapsed inside his own home, bleeding, alone. By the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. Marc Angelucci was pronounced dead on scene. News traveled fast. Friends, colleagues, the entire legal community was stunned. Who would want Marc dead? And why? In such a calculated way. Investigators had questions. And soon, they would uncover something chilling. Because Marc's murder wasn't an isolated crime. It was part of a pattern. Just days later, across the country in New Jersey, another attack. A man disguised as a delivery driver knocked on the door of federal judge Esther Salas. Her son, Daniel, was shot and killed. Her husband, critically wounded. The gunman fled. Investigators soon identified a suspect, Roy Den Hollander, a fellow attorney, known for his extreme, anti-feminist views. When police closed in, they found him dead, from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In his car, they discovered notes, targets, names, and among them, Marc Angelucci. Ballistics would later suggest the same type of weapon was used. Travel records placed Hollander in California, and his writings raged against Angelucci. The connection seemed undeniable. Had Hollander killed Marc, and then moved on to attack Judge Salas? Law enforcement believed so. But there was a problem. Roy Den Hollander was dead. There would be no trial, no confession, no chance to test the evidence in court. And for Marc's family and friends, that meant no closure. By late 2020, investigators were clear. They believed Roy Den Hollander was the killer. But legally, the case remains unresolved. No arrest, no charges, no jury verdict. And in the eyes of the law, That matters, because suspicion is not the same as conviction. Even today, reports describe Marc's murder as linked to Hollander, but not solved. There are still unanswered questions. Why did Hollander target Marc? Was it personal rivalry, professional jealousy, ideological hatred? Did Hollander act alone? Or was there more that investigators never uncovered? We may never know. Marc Angelucci's death shook the legal world. Supporters mourned a tireless advocate. Critics debated his causes. But one truth remains. A lawyer dedicated to justice was denied his own. His killer is dead. But justice was never served in a court of law. And so, Marc Angelucci's murder remains a case without conviction. For his family, for his colleagues, and for all who seek truth, the wound is still open, because justice without closure isn't justice at all. And now, we turn to you. What do you believe? Was Roy Den Hollander truly the man behind Marc's murder? Or is there more to the story, still hidden in the shadows? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more cases like this, stories of lives cut short, justice denied, and mysteries that remain unsolved, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us here on USA Unsolved Crime Files, because together we keep these stories alive until the truth is found.